So it is currently Monday the 24th of August 2026 and it is 2 minutes past 8. So we're gonna mark up, well, that's the high of today. This is the low. And all we're looking for is a break and signs of a continuation or a reversal. But yeah, that is what we're looking for and that's what we look for every day. So we'll see what happens today. But right now, London session is just opened and we'll give an update if it breaks structure in either direction. So we have got a break of structure to the downside with this big bearish candle, followed by two bullish candles. Anything that happened before the break of structure of the pre-London session has no relevance to me. So it just matters about what happens after the break onwards until 10. So yeah, right now there's not really much to go off. There's just a break to the downside, and we'll see if there's a continuation or if there's a reversal. And that will be dictated by what happens between 8:50, 8:52 right now, and 10 a.m. So 1 hour and 8 minutes. We'll see what happens. We'll give an update if anything happens. We'll give an update if there's no trade. So as you can see, price has created this breaker structure, created this breaker structure here. But to me, this is just a continuation. So normally what I'd be looking for is a sell, take price lower from 1 to 3. But because to me it is a continuation, that is still part of this impulse. Not that this impulse matters to me, but it is still part of it. What I would want to see is a retest in of some sort and then a continuation. Or what could happen, and I've seen happen before, is it trades above, closes above here, and then goes lower. And because we have this big imbalance, it could be trading up. It could trade up to fill the imbalance, not this far up, but maybe here, because this is where the break structure happened. Could retest the break to retest into the break structure area, because this is where liquidity would be. You know, there'd be stop losses here, buy orders here, so within this range. And this area that's also just been broken, it could retest into it and then trade lower. So we'll see how this plays out, but that is my thought process. I feel like it will come back into this area here, you know, buys this area, sells in this area. There's a lot going on in this little area here. It could just melt to the downside, but I do feel like this is just a continuation and it's gonna eventually reverse, trade into this area and then go lower. Or it could just fully reverse and start going to the upside. You know, that is also a potential. But yeah, I would normally be looking for sells from this area, but I've seen this happen way too many times where it does this and then it will trade above, close above and go lower, or retest in and then go lower. So I kind of want to see a trade away, right? So like this, then a trade away, then a break structure, then a retest and go lower. I'll try to find an example after 10 a.m. and then hopefully you understand what I mean a bit better. But yeah, gonna see what happens here. Okay, so price has now tested the highs and it's now showing that it wants to continue, in my opinion. So it tested the highs here, failed to close above. So now we're looking for an entry. So I'm gonna enter. Stop loss 8 pips. So it'd be 10.6. So you've entered with a one lot. I'm gonna check. I haven't even checked to see if there's news today, which is poor from me. Oh, there's no news. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, no news. Well, news at 1:30, but that high of impact on Friday. So I've entered with one lot at here. So as I said, I thought it would trade above, which I've seen a lot. But as you can see, it wicked above. So to me, that's a test. It tested the highs, struggled to close above it. So that's showing me good signs, because if it breaks structure, trades up to the high, trades above the high, but struggles to close above it, it makes me think, okay, it doesn't want to continue, it doesn't want to continue to the upside. So 0.5% there. That there. It's about 5 pip. If it doesn't hit stop loss, which is 10 pips, it's about 5 pip area. So if we was to lose, we should lose 0.5%, but I am gonna trade in get into another trade if it does go into drawdown. So for example, this is the bearish momentum it's created. So it's tested these highs and it created another break structure to this break here. So when it does, or if it does, come back up to here, like it did here, or even trade up to these highs, as you saw, it traded all the way up to this wick and then dropped. If it does something like that, then I will enter with another 1.0. And what that will do is it will increase my overall risk because obviously I'm entering another trade. But let's say it goes 7 pips into drawdown. That means on the second trade, I'll only be risking 0.3%. So that in total, I'll be risking 1.3%. But if they both win, then I'd have obviously made just over 6% because this would be 6%. If I've entered 7 pips higher, then obviously that gives, a little bit more percentage type of thing. So yeah, that's the first entry, and we'll see if we get into another one. But yeah, 10 pips, 6 stop loss, 8.6 high, 10.6 stop loss. So stop loss at 413, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Currently at what, minus 1.5 pips. Now we're at minus 17. It could just push up with this candle and just close us out. It could hit full stop loss or it could close above structure and then we'll be done for the day. You know, to me this is a valid trade, oh, in my opinion. Got the breaker structure, test of the highs, break structure again. So yeah, valid trade. See how it plays out. But yeah, see. Mm, but yeah, we'll see what happens. And I'll give you an update if I get into another trade. But I wouldn't say 2 pips different is a big enough, drawdown for me to enter the second trade. And the second trade I enter when I am in drawdown isn't gonna be like a fixed number, like, oh, I need to be 3 pips in drawdown. It's generally just gonna be of the overall trade. For example, this is a 5 pip high, meaning if it closes above structure, I should only be on 5 pips drawdown. So entering the second trade, yes, there has its benefit because obviously it doubles your profits, but it doesn't have much effect. Whereas if this was like a, what's a good example? Like a 15 pip, and or the actual high was over here, like near 10, like literally at 10 pips, then it'd be a thing where it's like, okay, cool, we've gone 7 pips in drawdown, we've gone 6 pips in drawdown or whatever, and then it would make more sense, you know? I don't know if that's even making sense, but I know what I mean. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But hopefully it tests these highs, and if it tests these highs, I'd probably sell from when it's tested these highs. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Okay, we have ended up entering again here, so we're risking 2%, and that's the simple fact it's 9:54, and I doubt I'm gonna be able to get anything in the next 5 minutes. So yeah, I entered at my first entry, so we're risking 10 pips or 10.6 pips, so just a bit over 2%. But if price closes above here, then we'll manually close. But yeah, so we are risking 2%. Target is here for 6%, and yeah, we'll see how the trade plays out. This is the first structure point we want price to take. And yeah, we'll see how the trade plays out. So we've got a breaker structure now to the downside. So hopefully continues on, you know. Hopefully it does continue on. As you can see, we've got a nice little clear bearish momentum going on. We got this. So hopefully it just retests and goes lower. But if it does trade higher, I will be looking to exit out of the trade, and it would probably be near enough break even or a little loss. But yeah, so far so good. No reason right now for me to exit. It's okay right now. It's doing well so far. So yeah, we'll see what happens going forward. So prices come up and now closed above this high. So that would be a break of structure for me. And now I'll be closing the trades. That's the trades closed for a total loss of minus 83. So I was risking 2%, and now, we closed out here. So the trade was, we entered, where did we enter? We entered on this candle. So an hour and 40 minutes trade. Go right back to this thing. Minus 0.83%. Minus 0.83%. And I forgot which account I actually used, to be honest. No, I'm gonna be honest. I used one of them. So I'm just gonna see which account it would have been. Okay, so it was this account one. So account one, this is the losses. Trade rating was A. Time of trade was what? 1 hour. 1 hour 40 minutes. 40 minutes. 1 hour 40 minutes. Day was Monday. Okay. Break structure of pre-London lows. Pre-London lows. Continuation. Then a test of London highs. Break structure again. Break structure of London highs. Break structure again. Entered on break structure candle. And then see when it comes to my journaling, I don't really go too in depth because I put it in a way that I'd understand. If I put in like bare checkpoints and bare different words and made it a whole paragraph breaking it all down, I wouldn't read it, to be honest. So I have to put in bullet points, like very short bullet points. Yeah, I have to put in bullet points for me to even come back and read it on the weekends or whenever I next read it. Because I'm not going to read a paragraph, to be honest, but I'll read a bullet point with a couple words. Why does it keep doing it? So, as you can see, break structure of pre-London lows with that big bearish candle continuation. As I said, continuation. Then a test of London highs. This was London high, so it tested it here. Break structure again, and that's where I entered. Entered risking, entered on a break structure candle, so I entered here. I didn't exactly enter on a break structure candle, but I'll be able to see that. Entered about here. Price traded up to entry. So I was after price had broken structure to the downside, price traded up to entry. My entry was just here. And closed above most recent high. This was the most recent high. So I manually closed, as you saw, manually closed here for a 0.83% loss. And the reason why I'm saying when risking 2% is because if I look at the losses, for example, one thing, if I come here, wow, what a bad month. If I look here, for example, the 24th, all I'm going to see is minus 83. I could be, because I've risked 1% and then I risk 2%, or I've risked 1% some trades and 2% in other trades, I might just think, oh, I risk 1%, so that's okay. But for me to risk 2% and end with minus 83, that's very, very good. You know, I've saved myself $120, which is 1.2%. I've saved myself, you know. So risking 2% and I lost less than half of that. So that's a very, very, very good statistic to write down because if this keeps happening, not saying it will, but if this was to happen two, three times and then I make 6%, then you know, saying the profit margin will be crazy. That's why I wrote that down. But yeah, I like to keep my bullet points very short and snappy, to be fair. Did I not write nothing about this one? 818. Okay, I wrote something there. What? Why didn't I? What did I? 818. A18 I wrote something. 821. Is it just a picture? Um, Let me write something now. Uh, why does it keep doing that? That is annoying. Why does it keep it? What is wrong with this? What's wrong with this keyboard? Okay, I delete the picture by accident. Did I click something on the keyboard? Why it keeps doing that? That is annoying. Of Asian eyes, London, bearish candle followed by a bullish candle. Uh, So I entered, so I entered, like what, like what is going on? What the fuck? Followed by a, why is that, what the fuck? Followed by a bullish candle. Fuck's sake. So I entered, price had good impulse to upside, reversed, had a BOS. Like, what are you doing? Reverse had a BOS to the downside, so manually exit. Reversed. Yeah, we'll leave it at that because the keyboard's playing up. But yeah, that is the trades done for today. See, so the losses aren't that major, to be fair. Minus 0.4, minus 0.5, minus 0.87, 0.89, 0.7, 0.1, 0.5, 0.4. You know, so when I'm risking 1% and risking 2%, as you can see, the losses aren't that big, except from like here, minus 1%. Any more minus 1%, it's minus 2%. Let me check on account too as well. Minus 2%, minus 1%, minus 2, 1%. So that's three trades that I've hit minus 1 plus. 4. That's crazy. So out of all these trades, only 4 trades have hit a minus 1 individually. Obviously, I'm entering with 2 positions, but individual, you know. So that's it's a good sign because if it was to win, that individual trade would hit 3%, and then the other individual trade should hit 3% as well. So yeah, it's crazy. So account one is in, after all these trades, it's in how much drawdown? 3% drawdown, and account two is in 2% drawdown. So yeah, just got to keep pushing, keep going, taking quality setups, and put all my wrongs, put all my wrongs right, basically. Need to be ending the month with better profit than that because that stinks. Yeah. So August, unless we make some nice profit this week or Monday, it's basically done. Gotta just focus on the next 4 months. Yeah, next 4 months. Hopefully we can get a pass before the year ends. That's what I'm aiming for. But yeah, man, we'll see. But that is me done for today.